Hey there, this is Mr. P. It is part number 2 of this wonderful book. We're ready to read. Shelley Fallow, as Mr. Aquino, led the class to the next tank on the tour. Shelley caught sight of her reflection on the tank's clear barrier. She had a long, curly dark hair, streaked with the blonde highlights from all the time she spent on aquarium outdoor sun deck feeding the dolphins. Her brown hair and eyes were darker brown than her sun-kissed skin. Her favorite thing about her appearance was her long, strong legs, which help her swim fast. Sunlight filtered through the water, casting strange shadows into her classmates. She didn't need to look at the illustrated placards to know that this exhibit housed spiny lobsters, stingrays, barracuda, and garden eels. The lobsters looked like giant red insects, waving their antennas lumbered around the bottom of the tank, filled with a coral reef and sea sponges. Mr. Aquino held up a white plastic straw. Now, can somebody tell me what this is? They all stifled their laughter at the easy question, all except for Shelley, who prevented her arm from rising. She wasn't going to risk Kendall calling her a nerd again. Ah, I'm pretty sure that is a straw, says Normie. Do I get an extra credit now? The class broke into laughter. Our sea sponges here are smarter than a normie, Shelley thought, with the head of a snake. It's not just any straw, Mr. Aquino replied, ignoring Normie's request. He slipped into his full-on enthusiastic teacher mode, waving his straw around. It's a plastic straw found on the beach this morning. He paused for dramatic effect. Did you know that 90% of seabirds and 50% of sea turtles have been found to have plastic in their stomach? Shelley felt a lump form in her throat. She did know. How could she not? She used to be the head of Kids Care Conservation Club at the aquarium. Earlier that year, she had spoken to Mr. Aquino about starting a chapter at school. That was before she became friends with Kendall. This straw looks harmless enough, Mr. Aquino went on, gesturing to the exhibit, where a smiling stingray drifted serenely behind the glass. But it's not laughing matter. This little straw could kill and endanger animals like that turtle or poison our precious oceans. Death by a killer straw, Kendall murmured, shaking her iced latte with its two straws at Antina and Alana. Anything but the killer straw, she added, flicking the tops of the straws. Atina and Atlanta giggled at her quip and sipped from their own iced lattes. Shelley cringed, feeling bad for Mr. Aquino. Her teacher gave up. All right, I'll give you two options. Dolphin exhibit or gift shop. They all yelled, Gift shop! At the top of their lungs. Shelley kept her mouth shut. She wanted to visit the dolphins, watch the feeders toss fish to Sassy and Salty, and maybe even dip her hand into open-air tank and pet Lily Mermy, the youngest dolphin in the pod. But it would just have to wait for another time. Fit in all the cost, she told herself as she settled up to her new friend. Please, Kendall said to her posse, then loudly slurped her ice lattes through the two straws. First, no more plastic bags, and now they want to take away my straws. No thanks. For reals, Atina chimed in, fiddling with her sparkly headband, which perfectly matched her sister's. Although Atina was pink and Alana's was blue. Who cares about this boring old fish anyway? Hashtag PTD, Alana neighed. Bored to death. She drank from her iced latte. The three girls turned to Shelley expectantly, each sipping from her drink. Right. So boring, Shelley mumbled, forcing out the opposite of what she actually felt. Totally, said Kendall with a smile. Shells, we love how you such a Shells, we love how you are such a know-it-all. Alana Atina tittered at her remark. Shelley did not know how to take it, so she simply smiled. Thanks, I think, she said. The girls began to trail behind the rest of the class, heading for aquarium gift shop. Shelley glanced at the front entrance that led up to the main exhibit and spotted the new security system alarm installed on the doors. She overheard father talking on the phone with the police, saying that somebody had been trying to break into the aquarium in the past few weeks. But then the entrance passed out of sight as Shelley and her friends headed into a dark and narrow corridor marked by portholes. Only shadowy light filtered through the round windows, and oversea creatures darted past the glass. This was Shelley's favorite part of the aquarium. Kendall nudged her at her side. Hey, who is that? She asked, cocking her eyebrow. Shelley followed her gaze to the boy about their age, leading the group of tourists past them through the corridor. He had a curly black hair, paired with green eyes the color of the ocean shadows. His smile lit up as he talked animatedly, pointing to the jellyfish spinning and twirling in a graceful undersea dance. Their transparent bodies glowed with a bioluminescence in a large porthole. Shelley struggled. Oh, that's just Enrique. Just Enrique, Kendall said in a mock horror. Major swoon. Total swoon, Anita and Alana said in unison. Shelley studied his face, trying to see what Kendall, Tina, and Alana saw. But she could see was a friendly boy who shared her fascination with marine lives. Everyone in the aquarium was a family, including Enrique. She couldn't think of him any other way. His older brother Miguel is a college kid, Shelley said. Miguel studies marine biology and volunteers here for his fall internship. Sometimes Enrique tags along to help out. He's actually pretty silly and kind of a science nerd, she added, last word slipping out. Science nerd, huh? Kendall asked, pulling a gross out face. Never mind. Suddenly something gelatinous swam up to the porthole behind Kendall's head. It moved like a gigantic spider, only quicker, cutting through the water and blocking out the light. Atina squealed and dropped her cup. Alana pointed to the porthole. Kendall, watch out! Just then, a slimy tentacle shut toward the glass. I will stop now. Part 3 is tomorrow.